Human Rights and Labor Practices Policy and Guidelines, Charoen Pokphand Group. Charoen Pokphand Group attaches great importance to human rights in business operations and commits to treating all employees equally and not to discriminate against them in any way. By complying with relevant laws and regulations in accordance with international standards and take proactive action to prevent human rights violations throughout our value chains and partners. Therefore, CP Group has a policy on human rights and labor practices since 2016, has reviewed and improved policies and practices on the nature of business, including the issues of risks and human rights impacts that have changed. The 2022 policy and guidelines have been revised to cover more complex issues, and the main objectives are as follows. 1. Prevent violations or negative human rights impacts in all activities of Charoen Pokphand Group's business, products and services throughout the value chain. 2. Prevent violations of unfair labor practices, discrimination, and all kinds of harassment, as well as promote collaboration and provide equal opportunities for personnel to develop themselves. 3. Promote human rights and labor practices of suppliers and stakeholders along the value chain, in accordance with Charoen Pokphand Group and international guidelines. Here are some important guidelines. 1. Demonstrating respect for human rights. 2. Labor practices. The first part is to show respect for human rights, which is respect for the fundamental rights, that all have inherent and equal rights. It consists of 6 sub-items. Civil and political rights are to respect the right to freedom of expression of citizenship and political expression, that does not violate the opinions and freedoms of others. Economic, social, and cultural rights. Everyone has the right to equal social welfare, able to work and rest as required by law, and can practice according to culture and religious beliefs. Gender equality rights. Everyone must have equal respect for being human. Do not discriminate against others because of their gender, sexual orientation, or gender identity. Do not commit sexual harassment and must respect personal rights and confidentiality. Promote equality at work based on competence. Employees must be serviced with facilities able to dress appropriately for their gender. Community rights. Organizations must respect rights and freedoms and provide opportunities for communities to express their views on rights issues openly. Business operations must not have a negative impact on the economy, natural resources, ecosystem and environment, including social conditions in various dimensions and other issues of communities where Charoen Pokphand Group operates. A human rights impact assessment covering health, environmental, and social issues is required prior to any investment or merger. Human rights procedures must be carried out in a transparent, fair, careful, and complete manner. Human rights in supply chain management. The department must verify the source of raw materials and take steps to prevent possible human rights violations. Procurement of raw materials or other ingredients must be obtained legally without violating human rights, either directly or indirectly. By giving importance to the minerals that must be used, must not come from minerals that have issues of human rights violations. Rights to land and natural resources. The company must respect the rights and freedoms to use land and water resources, in accordance with the rules and laws of that country and locality, without causing any negative impacts on water quality, way of life, customs, and culture. Acquisition of land requires consent and independence at the outset, but if an entity has already undertaken land and resources, rights and ownership must be examined. The second part is labor practices. There are 9 sub-items as follows. Forced labors. Labor must be voluntary. Do not use all forms of direct and indirect coercion, such as collecting deposits, fees, personal items, personal documents, etc. Employers must act in a humane manner, allocate working hours and working conditions, according to the law, and give employees freedom to relocate. Child labor and youth labors. The department must have measures to prevent the use of child labor under the legal age. For young workers, age checks are required according to the country, and focus on safe work and sanitation that does not violate morals, and does not affect education, including considering fair wages, promoting the development of skills and knowledge in working, Women and pregnant women labors. The department must ensure safe work for women and expectant mothers. Employers must take care of the benefits and protections they are entitled to, and not termination of employment, change the terms of employment, or benefits for pregnant women. Elderly labors. The department must provide jobs suitable for their physical condition, which must be harmless, and provide wage benefits according to the laws of each country. Disabled labors. The department shall provide for the employment of persons with disabilities and provide suitable space for working and living in the workplace, allocating wages in accordance with the labor laws of each country. Migrant labors. The department must take care of migrant workers from their employment to the termination of employment. Labor treatment must be fair and in accordance with the policy and guidelines for employment of foreign workers, 2022 edition. Discrimination and equal opportunity. The department must treat workers without discrimination for any reason, from their employment to the termination of employment. Labor treatment must be consistent with the diversity and inclusion policy and guidelines, 2022 edition. Access to safe and sanitary water. Organizations must provide adequate clean water and related equipment, in a sanitary and safe manner. The right to association and to unite peacefully. Organizations must supervise, and not impede any association to express opinions, to negotiate, respect the rights and freedoms of association, including any form of association that is legal. The department must not retaliate against the claims of employees and claimants, in particular litigation to suppress their participation. All employees are obliged to attend human rights-related training, provided by the company, in order to understand their rights, and protect themselves from rights violations. If rights violations are found, those affected or found to be infringed, should notify the channel provided by the company. Doing business with respect to human rights.